Today, I'm so excited to be diving back into some homemaking, and in particular, today I'm going to be talking about some things I'm trying to do to just improve my home, in particular before the baby comes. So, I have been trying to troubleshoot and fix and make more effective areas in my home, which I have so many of them, that I would kind of call like pain points. They're areas that I'm constantly having to go back and clean up and pick up because they've gotten disorganized or they're a mess or it's the junk drawer and they're just not efficient. They're areas that are not effective and I waste so much time in them. Or they're areas that just cause me a lot of frustration, or my husband a lot of frustration. So today I'm going through and I'm going to be sharing with you like 5 to 10 top areas in my home that I have been working on trying to figure out a better system for, or that I've been trying to figure out how to organize better, and so I can be more effective and more efficient. And so I'm really excited to be sharing with you what I'm really hoping will be kind of the key to finally fixing these areas. The reason why I'm starting out this video with some laundry clips is because the laundry is one area that I feel like I have such a good rhythm with. And I feel like I just have figured out a schedule and a routine and a system that works so well. I feel like I'm very rarely behind on the laundry anymore. And I would love to have more areas of my home feel like that, because I'll be honest, there are not that many areas that do right now, and that's slightly concerning to me. So with all that being said, let's dive into some of these examples I want to give you of areas and things that I'm trying to do to fix these areas in my home. Okay, first off, if you are following along and kind of doing something similar, the first thing I did was to sit down and just get out a piece of paper and write down different things that came to mind that I find are very reoccurring pain points in our home. And this was actually pretty simple to do because my husband and I had just recently had this really good conversation about different areas in our home that just don't feel like they function at their max capacity, or that they just kind of are irritations to us. And it was super good because it gave me kind of the motivation to really start looking around at my home more critically. And so after you come up with the list, however many it is that you want to tackle, then I start to try and think of what would best fix this pain point. And different things, I think, require different solutions. So to get started, my very first pain point that I found very frustrating, especially lately, has been our whole situation when it comes to setting out meat in time for dinner and actually having meat in a closer freezer than the freezer out in our shed, so that I don't have to constantly go out there every time I want to cook dinner. And not only set out the meat to thaw, but go all the way out to the shed to get the meat to thaw. So the first thing that I did was I went through and I cleaned out the shed so it's much easier to get to the meat that is inside the freezers. The next thing that I decided to do was to clean out the freezer in the house, and every Sunday now, Sunday is my night that I meal plan, I am now going to bring in the amount of meat that I need for the recipes I'm going to be making for the dinners that week and put it in the closer freezer. So this was just a simple thing, but I've only done it for about a week and it's already made meals so much easier and dinners so much less frustrating and just inconvenient, having to go out and get the meat and then make sure I set it out to thaw. Now it's just right in the kitchen and it's made it so much easier. Okay, so once I've come up with an idea that I think will work pretty well, with some of these, I actually wrote them out and put them on my fridge so I remember the exact system that I thought of, and it's just a really good reminder. So moving on to the next thing, the next problem area that was bringing up unnecessary stress in my life was that I actually forgot an appointment recently that I had, a medical appointment, just because I didn't have my life super well planned. I had forgot to look at my planner that week, and it had been a really busy week. And so I completely missed this appointment that I was supposed to show up to. And so I realized because of that and because of other things that have come up recently that I've just completely forgotten about, that I needed to come up with a better system to be sure that I am reminded of everything going on that week. So I've started as of about a month ago, and this has worked so well so far, to write out on Sunday night. Sunday night's kind of my night to plan the week. Every appointment and every person that I'm getting together with or seeing that week. Write out the exact day. And then I write out all of my dinner meals for the week. I plan my grocery list based around that. And lastly, on the same piece of paper, I write out like my top maybe 3 to 5 goals of things that I want to get done that week that are not necessarily things that I do every single day. And this has just helped me so much with feeling less overwhelmed. Every time I open the fridge, I'm reminded exactly of what it is that is going on that week. And since then, thankfully, I have not forgotten any appointments. And so I just stick this on my fridge, and it's working really, really well so far. And I'm accomplishing a lot more goals because of it as well. So while I have been doing this with tons of different areas in my home, and I'm only going to be showing a few today because it would just be a very long and boring video if not, I wanted to include some different types of pain points because originally I was thinking of this more in terms of areas that are disorganized that I want to get organized, or areas that are just messy that I want to clean up. But another thing that I would say is kind of a pain point is just something that you want to do, but the way whatever it is set up at the moment makes it so that you kind of put off doing it. So an example for myself was that I really want to do my kids' hair every single day. And I want to get in the habit of that while we just have one. But going around and finding the spray bottle and finding a comb and finding ponytails or clips every single day makes it very inconvenient and makes it something that I put off doing, even though it's a habit that I want to create with my daughter. And so I just went to the dollar store and I bought this little metal container. I bought a nice little squirt bottle. I put some hair product in it. And so it's as simple as possible. And I keep all of this right in my cupboard now, right beside where my daughter will eat breakfast. And now every day it takes me like 2 minutes to take out the hair stuff and do her hair. And it just is so much easier. And I've found that rather than trying to break super bad habits in super hard ways, I try to find ways to create new habits as easily as possible. And so a pain point can also be something as simple as this. These examples being given, though, I would say definitely the biggest problem in our home has just been areas that have not stayed organized easily. And I feel like I've had to spend way too much time every couple of days or every week, or at least constantly looking at a terrible mess or cleaning it up than these areas should require. And so a huge one has been this junk drawer in our kitchen. It just accumulates so much stuff. And so I bought these little pink containers. All of these containers, I think there's 10 of them in here, cost me $2 at the dollar store. If you're looking for good organizers, look at the dollar store. It's the best. And now I have a container for every single item that belongs in this drawer. And I've only had it done for about a week, but it has stayed the neatest it has ever been. And whenever I open it up, I feel so much joy. So with any areas that I feel like require way too much time and energy than they should to keep clean, the first thing I like to do is to declutter and purge. The next thing that I like to do is to get some type of containers to organize everything in. And I also will label it if it needs labeling. And I've found that kind of doing these 3 things helps a lot. Another problem area that we had was that our thermoses and our Tupperware, which are in this top cupboard, would just get so messed up, and the lids would get lost for the Tupperware or the thermoses in the back of the shelf, and it's kind of high so you can't actually see up to it, so you're just feeling around. It was just a mess. So once again, I just went to the dollar store and I bought these organizers, and it's such a dream now, and it was so simple. And once again, it cost me $2, which is a pretty good deal for relieving a lot of unnecessary work. Okay, like I mentioned, obviously I'm not going to show you every single area that I've tried to do this to, because it would be a really long and unnecessary and boring video. But I hope that this just gave you some ideas of kind of what I'm trying to do, and I really think it'll probably be super helpful. So far, it's been so wonderful, and it's such a good feeling opening drawers or going to do certain things throughout the house and just finding them neat and tidy, and not constantly feeling like I'm having to go back and redo something that I did like the day before. There's enough of that with laundry and dishes. I don't need any extra. So thank you for watching, and I am so grateful for this community. It's been so cool. I've been really slow with getting back to a lot of the comments that I've been receiving in my last few videos, because there's just getting to be so many of them. It's been hard to keep up, but it's so cool. This last week I went back and responded to a whole bunch, and I've seen so many of you all have kind of started your own conversations with each other, asking questions and giving advice and just encouraging one another in homemaking and being a mother and marriage. And that is so satisfying to my soul. And it makes me so, so happy, and I'm so glad to be a part of this community. So thank you so much, all of you who take the time to watch these videos and take the time to write these really sweet comments. They make my day every single time I read them. And so thank you, and have a wonderful week, and I'll see you hopefully next weekend in my next video. Bye, you all.